my community in Montpelier, everybody raised everybody. If I was walking down the street and I was cursing, and whoever was sitting on the porch would come out there and they would correct me. Then they would tell my mother when she got home, and my mother would smack me. And then when the daddy got home, I got another beating. It wasn't no such thing as the teachers were wrong, because if the teacher came to your house or sent a note and said that you were doing something wrong, you got another whipping.
We could go into Richmond for 25 cents worth of gas. 4 or 5 of us would go together with somebody that owned a car and ride around, or go to the drive-in hot shops. You could also ride the Ashland-Richmond bus for 25 cents. Wore your gloves and went downtown with Mama to Millen Roads or Talheimer's. We could go bowling. We did a lot of roller skating. We could play putt-putt. In the summer, we went to Overhill Lake or Horseshoe Bridge to swim. And being a faculty brat, I could go to the college pool. Nobody other than white children ever there. There was Little League on the Henry Clay Field, but the AC field was way down James Street, probably about where Macon Terrace is now. I think it was called the Ashland Colored Field. There were no mixing of the teams.
And I mean, the ball diamond was very well kept. It was a tremendous field that we played. We didn't play on it. The older guys played on it. We would go up there and wait for a foul ball to go outside of the playing area, and we would grab that ball and come back to Jamestown and get our own game.
Just about a half a mile below where I grew up, Second Culvert, we call it Second Culvert, but it's where Stony Run goes under the railroad. And during periods of high water, when the water came out on the other side, on the east side of the tracks, it gushed out and dug a pretty good pool there. And my buddies and I used to swim there. Well, one day, a bunch of guys from Berkeley Town came down. And it was, the pool was big enough, and we all swam and had a good time. We got to know each other, and I remember going home and telling my mother about it, and she said, well, that's very nice, just don't bring them home.
We led a pretty sheltered life because our home was the store, our security was the store, and our social life was the store. Because in this store, there was a jukebox. And on Friday and Saturday nights, we were in there doing the twist, the slop, the jerk. I mean, that was our entertainment. Yeah, so what was it? Mashed potatoes, that's right. So that was our entertainment. And by my father's idea, that was just perfect because we were right at home.
We went to the movie, which is, someone mentioned earlier, it's where Trackside Grill is now. And the blacks, of course, it was segregated. The blacks were upstairs. They had to come in the theater, buy a ticket, go back outside, walk around to the south side of the building where there was a stairway up to the balcony where they sat. And, you know, it wasn't until I was in the Army and getting to know Bob Johnson, my roommate, that I first really started thinking about black and white and right and wrong.
When I got home from college and I was about to turn 21, I needed to register to vote. And I could walk 2 blocks down Center Street to the registrar's office, which was in her house. So you can imagine that there weren't many black voters in Ashland, because who would go knock on a white woman's door to be registered to vote?
I took a part-time job at Talheimer's. Well, we were there one night, it was almost closing time, and a young lady who worked with me, a white young lady, looked at, she said, Mary, she said, keep an eye on that fellow over there. I said, where? And I looked over, and she used to stand over there. I said, what is he doing? She said, we need to watch him. I said, why you usually watch him? That's my son waiting to pick me up. Well, she kind of felt really bad about that.
The Sahara Club was an all-black, upscale cool, cool place. On North Avenue in Richmond, it doesn't look cool now. You don't want to go there now. But back then, this was the coolest thing to do. But of course, it required lying to our parents. We could never tell them we were going to the Sahara Club. So we would look at the paper and find out what movies were playing that night, and we'd tell our parents we were going to go see a movie. But we would go to the Sahara Club. And often, Hop and I were the only white couple in that place. But we're not talking low-rent entertainment. We had the Four Tops, the Temptations, Ray Charles was there. And as an aside, you know, Ray Charles couldn't see any of us, but he evidently could hear me at some point. This is a true story. And he pointed in my direction and said, I want that gal to come up here and sit on the bench with me. Is this not the greatest thing you've ever heard? And so I looked around, and everybody's saying, he wants you, he wants you. So I went up and sat on the bench with Ray Charles. Can you believe that? And the only thing he asked me was, can you sway? And I said, I can sway. And this was Ray Charles and me. Heaven.
And the Richmond Police Department are looking for some minority employees. And I said, not me. I don't want to be a cop, never dream of being a cop, and I don't like police. They're okay. And after about 2 weeks, I called them and I said, I need a job. Yes, it'll last for 30 days, so your application is still good. Join the Richmond Police Department. And it's one of the best things that ever happened to me, because you can help people. You can get the wrong people off the street. You can teach the young. You can lead by example. You can make mistakes and learn and actually move on. Who would have thought a little skinny red boy from Montpelier, Virginia, would be the sheriff in the city of Richmond? The sheriff.